Time Fabrication back with you again. Working on the Packard. There. We got a dent that's down here. The rear bumper sits right here. And what happened? Somebody hit right here, or they backed into something. I don't know. There's little dents on both sides. There's also a dent right here. It starts there and goes all the way up into here. So we got to somehow try to get that out. So let's get started on this. All right, I'm going to tackle this one here first. I need to get me a body hammer. Now, you guys probably can't see it, I don't know, but anyway, it starts here and goes right up to about in here somewhere. I can't get back behind this, so I'm just going to have to hammer it out. I don't know for sure if this comes around like this, bows out and then goes in. Nope. Right here in this crease, the metal's creased in that part in there. So that tells me that that piece right there is supposed to be straight and not have that bend in it. So we're going to get a bigger hammer. Now you guys are hearing me hit that, right? See if I can get you guys down here a little closer. Now, you guys kind of heard how hard I was hitting that, right? You don't have to, like that. Just very little hammering, it'll straighten the fender. Feels really good right there. Hit it with a sander and see where I'm at. Right in there. Got a little bit of a high spot. Still feels a little high. Just right in here, right in there. But then you see this is low here. So I got to somehow get that metal pushed back up into here. I'm doing here is I'm hammering all this metal that's down in here and down in here to try to move it up into here. And if worse comes to worse, guys, just a little bit of filler right there is all it would take. You know what I need, guys, is old Bondo Billy, he's got one of those V-Vor spot weld pullers. I need to pick me up one of those. All I have is the ones that you weld a stud to, and if I were to weld a stud to that, then by the time I'm done, I'd have to fill this whole corner in. With what he has, it just barely pulls on the tip, probably about the size of a needle pin, versus the heads that I have are like huge. But yeah, I need to pick me up one of those so I can. What I need to do is pull this right here while I'm hammering on this. That way the metal will come up. But again, I don't have that little tiny spot weld puller. All I got is the big one. That right there is probably about as good as it's going to get. That's probably as good as that's going to get. Now, there's one right there and one right there, a little tiny one right there. This is solid. I can get back in here and then up that way, so I can go like that. Nope, can't get to that either. That's all cut off back there. So, what I'm going to have to do is, I guess I'm going to have to get that big old honking stud puller out, because that dent goes out into here. So I'll have to get that big honking stud puller out and get that pulled, I guess. I can't find my angle grinder, so I guess I'll use this. There you can kind of see the dent better. That whole thing right there. There. That's how big that dent is. Can you guys see that? And then there's another one there. That's got. And another one right. Now, I got the, really? I love ADHD, don't you guys? I walked over here and got the tip and threw it back in the box, and I thought I had it with me. Alrighty then. Now, we're going to do, let's see, do one about there. Guess it would help if we had power. No, it didn't. Trying this for a fourth time. Alrighty then. We're going to start on the outside. Pull. probably 2 down here in the bottom. Probably, let's go about here. And I need to get another stud. Pop this one in about, let's go about right there. There went my one stud. That's another crappy thing about those. To jump from stud to stud. Alright. Now, I'm pulling this here and I'm not seeing, I seen some initial movement in the beginning, but I'm not seeing much movement now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my puller and I'm going to go to this side one here. Alright, and go to this one. And this center one's a lot deeper, but I'm going to focus on the metal that's up in here because this pin here is in the center like this. So I'm going to focus more on this metal up here to try to work it down just a smidge. I wish I could get a hold of that one, but I can't because I sheared it off. So I'll go down to this one here. Don't really work for a left-handed or right-handed guy, but I'll do the best I can here. Now with this one here, I worked down here. This one up here, I worked here. This one here, I worked more in here. This one, there's not really, because of this crease here, there's not really much you can do with that one. Just kind of pull it and hope it pulls out. Feels good until right in there. So what you might have to do is come in and then reset, which means clip those off. And then grind them down. Alright, so let's get these off. Now the way I treat those is I treat them with just like a spot weld would be. I just lay this right on top of it until it gets down to where there's metal, you know, I can't see where it was welded to. Now I got this up here is pretty good. This down here now is still low. So I think I'll put one there, and one here. One right across that direction right there. So we'll put the first one about there. Put the second one probably about there. And we'll put the third one about, tell you what, let's just do with those two right now. Starting with this guy here. pull. Because, boy, I tell you, that crease is really going to make it hard right there. I'll have to put one right about there. Pull. Alright. Let's get those off of there. So now we gotta go across here, up there. So let's go one right in the center. And you don't want to hold the stud too long, because the more that metal heats up, the more weak it's going to get, right? Now let's get our slide handler. Go right in the center. Pull. And guys, the reason I'm watching, or I'll, like when I hit that first one there, when I hit that first one, over here, I'll get this here. So I hit this first one here, right? I seen the metal move right in here. So I went to this side, I seen the metal move right in here. Then I went over here, and I seen the metal move up in here and a little down in here. Then when I went back to this one and pulled it again, I seen the metal move right in here just a little bit, and then I seen when I moved to here, nothing here. So I know that with these three studs, I've pulled as much metal as I'm going to with these three studs. So let's get these clipped off of here. Let's get them ground down. See that? That's how I do them. Now, my when I was in body class and Haver, my instructor told me, he said, anytime that you do a stud gun like that, you have to fill it with body filler. Now, there's some times that I've done that, but there's a lot of times where I get it pulled out and it's fine. Alright, let's see what we got. Now, unfortunately, I believe that we're going to have to fill that just a little bit. And the reason I say that is because now I have where the studs are, and that's what I was saying earlier, if you guys could see it, but where the studs were at, so I've got a low spot that's right there, a low spot that's right there, and a low spot that's right there. Now, when you get down to where there's 3 low spots like that, then there's really nothing you can do, because all you're doing, you're going to put another stud in there and then try to pull it, and it's going to just do the same thing. So, pretty sure that's about as far as we're going to go with that. So, let's get the sander. Just a little tiny bit of filler. Now, would I have loved to have been able to get on the back side to that? Yes, I would. I would have loved to have gotten on the back side of that. But I couldn't get on the back side of that because it's all sealed under here. I can't get to it. Now, there's 2 options I have right here, right now. I can take and just, if you guys could see it, I could probably move you guys over here and you could look this direction here and see there's probably that much filler that needs to be put in. Just about that much filler just needs to be put in right there. Or I could come in here with the welder and I could just spot weld in here and then grind it down and then fill in the holes, grind it down, fill in the holes, grind it down. Guys, you're looking at a whole other mess of beans right there, because the more heat you put into that metal, the more it's going to warp, the more it's going to warp, the more you're going to be chasing a dent. The more you're chasing a dent, you might as well just get to the point to where you just cut this out and put a patch panel in there. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to get it right there. And again, you know, it's there's very little filler there that needs to be put there. If I can get that in my pocket. So with these being so small here, they're about the size of the tip of my finger here, both of them. So what I'm going to do is just go right in the center, just like that. And I'm going to go right in the center, like that. I'm going to grab this, put it on there like that, and I'm going to pull. Now let's snip these off. Well, let's check it first. Yeah. Snip these off. Let's get my grinder. Alright guys, so we got those ground off here. Now this one here, I'm going to say is low right there. Just a little bit. And then this one here's got a low right there. So I'm going to try to very gently put one right there. Just like that. Stop sliding. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to take another one. I'm put him right about there. And I hope, well, I better hit that for another second. There. Now, this on, pull. See the metal come up there. Now let's get these snipped off. Let's get them ground off. Something else I've noticed here, guys. I'll show you in just a second. I just noticed it. Alright. Now, you see the low spot now, right? Right there, right there. Again, that's about as good as that's going to get. But, I've just noticed this body line that comes down through here distorts right there. Right there. It comes down like this right here, and then it swoops over just a little bit right there. So, in order to fix that, I am going to have to go over here to about right there. Put me a stud. Here's where you need a second person, because as I'm pulling on this and hammering this on this side, somebody else needs to be on this side hammering that over. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get behind this, pull, if I can get all this stuff out of my way, pull like this. Take and put one hand on here, put one hand here like this, and then the other one off. All right, let's see what we got. Let's get that ground off. Alright, let's get the sander. And there's your body line right there. Pulled it over a little bit. You guys see just like right in there how it just kind of deviates just a little bit. Pretty sure that that's probably going to be behind the fender, or the bumper rather. So that's probably about as far as I'm going to go with that. As far as this side over here, again, you know, just a very, very, very small little bit of filler to go in there. All right, guys, I tell you what, I think that's enough for me today. I think I'm gonna come in here and see if I can't maybe fine tune this just a little bit, and then I think I got this over here. It's a little high right there, but anyway, guys, I believe that's all I got for you today. Remember, guys, if your project's ignored and will never get restored, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe button down there. Like, subscribe, share, all that other fun stuff. Don't cost you nothing. It really don't. Like that button down there, you know, that like button, hit that thing. Again, guys, remember, if your project's ignored, it'll never get restored. Now get out there in the garage and do something. All right, see you guys.